The Elgoo are a widespread species that have two powerful legs. They evolved to run at high speed to avoid predators, capture prey, and cover long distances in the search for resources in a reasonably harsh world. Humans visiting Elgoo habitats should be prepared for temperatures around 104 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees centigrade with low humidity. This is a pleasantly brisk temperature for the Elgoo, who can tolerate heat sufficient to cook an egg on their thick leathery skin. Skin and eye protection will also be required if the Elgoo are using ultraviolet light for heating these areas, as that is what their home system's star produces, making for a dark, hot, and quite dangerous environment for a human. Like humans, the Elgoo keep small, predatory animals from their homeworld with them in their habitats. However, these are not pets. They are the Elgoo's prey, three main types of animal in an array of different species, which all prey on each other while at the same time subsisting on tough, nutrient-poor moss, lichen, and algae which grows mainly on the sides of rocks, rounded from the frequent dust storms that rage across the planet. The Elgoo evolved to hunt in packs, keeping on the move, and tucking their bodies into a ball like an armadillo, as violent sandstorms are pretty frequent and they can't always find shelter, dig protected burrows, or outrun the storms. Their legs are powerful and more flexible than a human's. They have 2 toes with large claws they use for digging into the burrows of smaller creatures, and have 4 tentacles that can retract or extend from a pouch just above their mouth, with the sensory organs on one pair and 2 fingers on the other pair they use for snaking into burrows, under rocks, and eating, plus have developed into good tool manipulating limbs. They sense sound mainly through their feet as vibrations in the ground. While they are well known for beautiful singing language they create from the breathing orifices located on the sides of their torso, they also communicate with each other through taps, shuffles, scrapes, and clicks on the ground with their feet, performing complex dances and also tapping on rocks and eggshells when they are at rest. The Elgoo are hermaphrodites and lay eggs. Their eggs are coated in a substance that impregnates the other Elgoo, and they all share communal nests. They all raise their hatchling together, and aside from touching their limbs together, they don't generally engage in any other form of physical contact. They do understand sexes and genders before they met other alien beings, thanks to the diverse array of reproductive methods that have evolved in other creatures on their homeworld, but don't consider reproduction to be a crucial aspect of their lives. They produce and lay a single large egg regularly. This starts when they're about 10 years old. They lay the eggs infrequently at first, always at the centre of the communal resting place they dig from an area of sandy ground. The older individuals always rest and lay their eggs further from the centre of the resting dugout. The location where an Elgoo rests, where it stands or runs in relation to the rest of the pack, and how high or low it holds its posture around others are all very important to their behaviour and culture. Position is everything in Elgoo society. It's also important to understand that Elgoo prefer to keep moving at all times that they are not resting, and their resting period is not a matter of choice. When it is time to rest, they all rest together. They all rest in the correct position, in the correct comfortable conditions. Their communication switches to the business concerning the politics and gossip of the pack, and they are very territorial. Even if there are no eggs present in the Elgoo resting pit, they will be quite hostile to anyone who comes close to the area, even those they consider friends and allies, who would know better anyway, as Elgoo do warn strangers about their taboos and such. Elgoo will all pick up and carry their unhatched eggs within the same pouch their sensory and arm tentacles retract into, a bit like a marsupial, except this is also where they absorb the genetic material on the shell coating of the egg, which fertilizes their own eggs. Patterns and position are fundamental to the Elgoo. Their artwork and architecture feature a lot of symmetry and spirals. They also love naturally eroded rock formations and create intricate decorations in the sand, much like they do in Japanese culture. Their display systems and control interfaces all conform to these aesthetics. An Elgoo design, layout and artwork is quite trendy, as is their music and their obsession with a form of dramatic performing arts that they share with humans, the soap opera. Suppose you thought human soap opera was complicated and confusing for other species. In that case, the Elgoo shows are on a whole other level. Their shows are divided into action-packed tooth and claw survival dramas, punctuated by Machiavellian plots centered around the resting scenes, usually at the start and end of each episode. And of course, being in the Elgoo language, Every show is a musical with intricate tap dancing routines. It is as bewildering as it is entertaining, and this entertainment heavily influences Elgoo culture. The Elgoo are highly social. They hate to be alone, but also find the lack of formality and custom among many other species to be highly frustrating and often quite offensive. They simply will not speak with humans regarding the sleeping and mating habits they indulge in, or the fact that humans' diet is very offensive to them. They do not eat carrion, they only eat live prey, and so mealtimes for them are just a quick leap onto some small creature near them, constricting and killing it before popping it into the mouth, much more extensive and full of small shredding teeth than you might have thought were necessary. The Elgoo don't eat where they rest, they eat as they move and move around quite quickly. If confronted by a pack of 7-foot tall Elgoo running at you in a spaceport, just stay still and don't make any sudden alarmed dashes with safety, as this is prey behaviour and the Elgoo find it a bit offensive for non-prey to do such things. It's like pretending you are food and makes them think about hunting, which is quite distracting. It is best to stand as straight and tall as possible, keep your arms up like a boxer, and get their attention by stomping your foot down quite hard. They will respect this posture of authority almost despite themselves, leaving quite a good impression. Do not extend your hand in the human handshake custom, as that is an aggressive act to the Elgoo, and you could get a nasty kick that will slice your throat open in a split second. Don't worry though, you are far too large for an Elgoo to consider eating you, and you are quite toxic to their body chemistry. Elgoo treat arsenic like we treat salt, dusting it over prey just killed before eating it. So do not go near them when they are eating without respiration protection. Also, Elgoo pay attention to arm position, not facial expressions. They don't have any idea what a smile or a frown or anything like that means unless they've taken a very keen interest in human communication, which is unlikely as humans are not that widespread and our soap operas are pretty dull, so they tend to think all humans must be quite boring. Thanks to their native environment, the Elgoo buildings and spacecraft tend to look a lot like seashells, with thick, durable outer shells that are rounded and contoured like wind-scoured rocks. So their ships are quite attractive to human sensibilities and function quite well in both atmosphere and underwater, though the Elgoo find large bodies of water to be quite weird, as their planet is arid and they never drink water or learn how to swim. They also have a very limited sense of smell and taste, so they find things like wine and carbonated beverages need clarification. They might assume they are something like cleaning solutions or a type of machine fuel. They only developed using fire for a short time and only recently discovered the pleasure of smoking, so Elgoo will be keen to trade artwork and music for a nice supply of very rare human plants that can be burnt and smoked. The Chinese brake fern is highly popular with the Elgoo as it has an intoxicating, relaxing effect on them when smoked. Historically, the Elgoo have met and interacted peacefully with most species they've encountered in the galaxy, but they have also fought at least a few interstellar wars on a limited scale. So while they come in peace, you can be assured that they have the means to not just defend themselves, but do catastrophic damage if provoked. Their natural focus on tactical social positioning translates very well into strategic warfare, where they strike with rapid and deadly force from the most advantageous locations with great talent and absolutely no hesitation. Elgoo don't second guess a situation where speed is critical to success and survival. That's just the way they are built. When interacting with the Elgoo, it is essential to approach them with respect and caution and to be patient and open-minded in communication. They are a peaceful and diplomatic species and are generally open to making contact with other intelligent life forms in the galaxy. Take care when outside of galactic territory frequented by lots of humans, as the public spaces in quite a wide area of this side of the galaxy are designed for the Elgoo. So surfaces may be hot to the touch, and heating may cause you severe sunburn. The powder in the dispenser in the eating area will contain arsenic salt, there are no tables, and the seats will be shaped like eggs or might be easily mistaken for rocky art installations. Do not wave your hands around or gesture too much with them while talking, and be careful not to eat dead meat, cheese, or raw fruit in open view of the public. Bring a water bottle, and most certainly pack a dependable towel. You should be just fine. End of file.